I'm not friends with that guy. You know why I'm not friends with that guy?
You don't like that
Do
guy.
you want to know a story why I'm not friends with that guy?
Yeah, yeah.
No, I never had a problem with the guy. I mean, listen, I didn't think he was the coolest guy when we let him in the fraternity, but whatever. But, and I know I'm a dick, but I hold grudges. So he had a rush party at his apartment one year. Like he was kind enough to let us go to his party house, his apartment to have a rush party. And I pissed in his tub instead of the toilet. And I told him, I'm like, dude, I pissed in your tub. Right. So he got all mad, but that's not where the story ends. So fast forward to that might have been my spring semester, my senior year. Fast forward to the fall, I came back for homecoming and I had my own, I had a job now, I graduated and I came back and I see him later at the party. He goes, I just pissed on your car. Like, that's what he did to get back at me. He pissed on my car. And I knew at that moment the dude had problems.
I'm gonna give him props. I think that's great. I'm sorry. I'm gonna give him props. Is it an overreaction? Yes. But is it a funny reaction? Also, yes.
I'm laughing about it, Obi, but yeah, I'm laughing about it, but still, I just
Okay. Well,
dude.
All right.
Roll. First of all, if I piss in your tub, just rinse it out. It all goes to the same spot. But to hold that up for 6 months and then piss on my car, you got problems, man.
I'm going to go with brilliant. Sorry, I love it. I think that's great.
Okay, so
I mean, I understand.
So maybe,
and you're an adult now, but to him, you weren't really an adult yet. I know you had made the transition, but he hadn't made the transition, so he didn't care that you had made the transition. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, maybe. You're right, and I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It just struck me. It pissed me off.
It was meant to piss you off. I mean, he didn't do it to be like, "Hey, I got something cool for you here, dude."
See, here's the thing about that whole thing. Like, I pissed in his tub to be funny. I didn't think that was a bad thing. I just thought it was kind of a stupid thing. Like, whatever, I pissed in your tub. But when you piss on a man's car, I just think that's next level.
I mean, your car's gonna get pissed on by birds and shit on by birds. It's not like the car paint is not made to be pissed on. I mean, it's not intentionally made to be pissed on.
Listen, I don't think he ruined my car. I think he disrespected my car.
He definitely disrespect. But it was what he listen. He could have pissed in your bed at the fraternity. He could have done a lot of different shit. But he pissed on your car.
I would have killed him if he pissed in my bed.
He was never going to get the chance to get exactly equal retribution, right? I mean, that was not. He was never going to get a chance to go to your house and piss in your tub. So
yeah.
So that's all.
All
right.
Well, anyway.
Yeah, I think it's fucking good story.
I don't think I've ever told anybody that story before, by the way.
That makes it even better. I've been holding the grudge, and I was so pissed, and I just had to keep it to myself for 30 years.
For 28 years. 28 years, Obi. Somehow you have to get this into the episode.
I'm Obi. That's Ed. We are drinking from the garden hose. You may have heard music already. We may have told a great story already, because Ed's been holding the grudge for 28 years and just let it go. So, yes. Another fraternity brother we've never talked about just got on the show. And congratulations to you, Matt, for your new move and your new job and moving out to Washington, or not Washington. Was it Washington or Seattle? So good for you. And
I wouldn't know because I'm stuck over here holding a grudge for 28 years.
Good job. I approve of your revenge, and it looks like it worked. So in addition to 28 years of grudge holding, you lost your first loss is not a fair word. I don't want to use that word. Your house is one short. How's that going for you, Ed?
Yeah, Obi, the whole move to, all right. So, this is drinking from the garden hose, right? And this is about old men, and we're even older as we get into the fall of our third year, right? Like of this podcast. So this is a whole, just in case people are new, this whole thing is about getting off my lawn, right? Get off my lawn. I'm old, right? So first kid goes to college. I thought that was fine. Moved in, whatever. They had big, anyway, the move went in fine. No big deal. But here's the thing that got me the most, right? And I'm not even going to get into the emotional stuff because whatever. Because first, let me get into that. Obi, one thing I realized, because you had a kid go off to college, like there's like this club, like you don't know you're in the club until your first kid goes off to college, and then everybody else welcomes you into the club. Even though you knew they had kids at college, they never welcomed you into the club. But then, like, they find out you moved your kid. Like, you're welcoming me into the club by asking that question. By the way, that's what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And I had guys at work the next day, like, so how was it? Like, I'm like, oh shit, I'm part of the club now. Like, so it's just amazing. Like when you have that first kid, you're welcomed into the club as well. It's the same thing. I'm now in the club of the guy who went and dropped his kid off at school. So then it's like, oh, so did you cry? How bad you cry? How'd your wife do? Did she cry? And then, we all tell stories like, oh, I didn't cry. But my wife, she was a wreck. Like she can't get over it, but I'm a tough guy, right? Like it's all part of the club, right? But that isn't even so the club thing kicks, I get a kick out of that because I didn't know it existed until 2 or 3 weeks ago.
You just blew the secret. We're gonna have to throw you out of the club. Sam's coming home. Sorry, you're gonna try again.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was a club, but now I'm in a club. And by the way, everyone else is listening. They're not a club. Well, you're gonna find out. There's a club, but here's the thing. So she goes away to college, and I've raised her to be scared of everything, right? My job is to protect my kid, my daughter. Like you stay away from boys, you stay away from drugs, you don't drink. This is how I'm going to keep you safe, right? Don't make all the mistakes your dad made. So she gets to school, and I'm telling you, like day 2, she's telling me, Dad, you'll never guess what my sweet mate's dad did before he left after he moved them in. I go, what? He went and bought them 2 bottles of vodka to get them started. I'm like, what? I'm like, my dad never did that. That's bullshit. I had to wait like until I met upperclassmen. I had to cajole them to buy me the vodka. I had to pay for my own vodka, right? So think about this. These people move into college and they got vodka in their fridge the first day. That's bull crap, first of all. Then day 3, I get a text from her, Dad, they're smoking weed in the bathroom. I'm like, oh, wow. Couple things here in my head. It was like, damn, it's day 3. They're already smoking weed. Like, what the hell's going on here? But then I'm realizing she's not excited about this. So, nor should she, by the way. But I said to her, well, at least they're not smoking next to your bed. Like, I mean, let's look on the bright side here. So here's my point, Obi. It ain't like when I moved in. There's vodka and weed in day 2 and day 3. What the hell?
Is this a freshman dorm?
Yeah, freshmen.
Wow. Okay.
Early starters, like, all right, like, listen, I know Jersey. I went to school in Jersey. I know people in Jersey are tough, but boy, have they progressed in the last 30 years, man. Oh, and everyone has a fake ID, by the way. Everyone.
Wow. Okay. Well, the fake ID, I think everyone has a fake ID is wow. I mean, I never did the fake ID thing for whatever that's worth. But I always knew people were old enough to drink, like, from the day whatever age it was, I started drinking. There was like maybe a year of driving into, poorer parts of town and paying some guy to buy booze, but it really wasn't for that long of a period. It was always I knew somebody, like never had trouble, like ever. I was just on vacation and we were just talking about how we were telling stories and we're like, yeah, it was what year? And like the 4 of us were talking about this story. and none of us was of legal drinking age. And the story was, all about, and we're like, who got? I don't know. It was there. There was no like the process of having for that story of having getting the beer was not even like part. It was just there. It was there. It was there. Right there.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was there, right? But it wasn't there all the time, too. Oh, so here I got another story to tell you. And by the way, my daughter is never going to talk to me after I tell this story, too. But listen, here's the other thing. She goes, I mean, the whole boy thing. I'm like losing my mind over here because there's boys and, freshman boys are all they want to do is get with freshman girl. Sophomore boys, junior boys, senior boys, all they want to do is get with freshman girls, right? New me, want to go after, right? So anyway, she's talking to me. She comes home on the weekend. She's talking to me about this dorm room she went to with the boys live in. And I'm like, I'm already agitated, right? I already don't want to hear the story. But she said a couple things to me that just cracked me up. The first thing she said to me was, oh, you want to know what's in their fridge? I said, I don't know what's in their fridge. She goes, just beer, all Miller Lite, nothing else, all Miller Lite in their fridge. And I'm like, okay, two things on that. And I didn't say this, but I'm thinking two things on that. One, okay, that's what I would have. However, in college, I never had my fridge filled like all the time with beer. Like that was like a on-demand system, right? You needed to drink, you went and got it, you drank it, it was all gone. And then it was like I never had storage issues with that, if you know what I'm talking about. But nowadays, they store their dads must buy it for them and they store it.
Well, no. So if those were not freshmen, I'm going to
sophomore. A sophomore has their fridge full of beer.
When I left my son is 22, so it is a little different, and he is in the senior dorm. You don't have to be a senior, but pretty much everybody's in it. When I left, moving him in for the last time at Rutgers, the fridge was full of beer. The cabinets were full of liquor. Like they had enough that it would last a decently long time, no matter how many parties they had. Secondly, we did not have beer in our fridge when we knew each other because we had a keg on tap all the time.
Not all time. That's revisionist history, Obi. Again, the kegs were on demand as well. We would tap the kegs, kick the kegs, and then the next time we needed to drink a keg, we got a keg. It wasn't on tap all the time. And we lived in a fraternity house. We didn't even have a refrigerator full of beer in the fraternity house.
No, we did not.
Things have changed. Things have changed. And then, but here's the other hilarious part of this story. She's like, yeah, Dad, I went back there the second night and this boy, he must have been really trying to impress me because he pulled the funnel out and did a funnel. And I was caught between two worlds when she said that. There was a world of dad that said, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. That's not impressive to a woman. And then I was also caught with, how fast did he do it? Probably not as fast as I could.
But I have one question on that. Did she call it a funnel or did she call it a beer bong? And then you've now changed that to funnel.
So she didn't call it either because I raised her right. She's never seen one. She goes, what's that thing where you and she does the motion, like it goes up and they pour the beer in. I'm like, a funnel. She goes, yeah, that. So that was that. So she didn't call it anything. But then when I said, I couldn't help. I can't help myself, Obi. I said to her, I mean, she's in college now. She's at parties. She's been to her first fraternity party. I mean, like the Band-Aid is off, right? So
right. She's not wasting any time getting dad.
No. She has, because of being part of the team, right? Like she's got access. Like she's got more access than any freshman should have. Like she can go anywhere she wants because she's, I don't want to say celebrity, but whatever. So I figure the Band-Aid's off. So I'm like, so how fast did he do that funnel? I mean, because your old man could do it in like 3 seconds. And she's like, oh, not that fast, Dad. He had like stop in the middle. He had to put his hand over. I'm like, oh, I beat him. So there's that.
Good. You can start telling her in a year or two how you used to be able to do 2-story funnels. Then you can impress her.
Yeah, Yeah, well, I just gotta let her know that these boys aren't so cool. No, she just needs to know these boys aren't so cool. That's all.
Yeah, look, the truth of the matter is we did things like funnels. We were thinking we were impressing the girls, but maybe we were impressing each other. The girls did not care about us doing funnels.
Well, that's my point when she said he thought he was impressing me, which, by the way, there's no doubt. I mean, this isn't a small dorm room. I think there was 2 guys in there and like 6 girls, which if you're 2 guys with 6 girls in the dorm room, why are you wasting time on a funnel? Like, it's stupid. Like, get your head out of your ass, man.
Because you're sophomores. That's why. That's why.
Well, yeah, I know. Stupid. But so anyway, that's how college is going, Obi.
Okay. Well, at least she's playing basketball still. When is practice?
Yeah,
Practice started.
Already started. Already started. I think a lot of those craziness that I was just telling you about is going to end because now they have like 6:30 a.m. practices, so everyone's got to calm down and all the fraternity parties and stuff. I think those are over.
Yes. Well,
she won't see them. She won't see them again until the spring. But
that's the other thing that when I don't know how much time ahead of time she had, but there's a certain amount of time you move in, and then there's nothing going on campus. There's no school. There's no nothing, and then finally school starts. You're like, oh, maybe I. Yeah,
and your dad bought you 2 bottles of vodka, and there's nothing going on. You're going to drink the vodka. Yeah, I get it. Right. So, Obi, something else about the first day of school. Like everybody's kids are going back to school, and I know we did a whole episode on this, so I don't want to go into that. But I did notice something. I think it's scientifically proven, Obi, and you maybe you can debate me because science apparently is a debatable thing these days. I think it's scientifically proven that kids that are holding signs in their first day of school pictures are less happy than those that aren't.
You're gonna ruffle some feathers. I mean, it's
the science. You have to trust this. You have to trust the science. If the kid is holding, it's a fact. If the kid is holding a sign, there's a frown. It's a fact.
I'm going to disagree. I know for a fact that my cousin, he posts pictures of his kids and have for years, and they usually look happy. And the reason I know that they look happy is because they are the outliers. These are 2 kids who are outliers, and he just had his wife just had their 3rd child. So I was really excited to see their pictures this year to see if that younger sibling had turned that smile into a frown, and it does not seem to have. So I'm going to say you're right for the most part, but there are a few children. Just like there's a few children who managed the Santa Claus picture, there's a few kids who managed the sign picture.
Well, so you're telling me your cousins actually hold the first day of school sign that says their name and their age, what grade they're in, and they're happy?
Yes. They are particularly happy kids overall, too. I should note. These are not unhappy kids. I mean, these are 2 pretty happy kids, and yes, they are happy.
These kids might be force sensitive. They may be special. They could be the next Jedi. Because I'm telling you, scientifically proven, Obi. So that's my first day of school. So this is our first episode back. Okay. I got some other things I got to talk to you about.
Here you go. I pulled them up.
Our listeners can't see it.
I know, but I need you to vouch because I'm going to.
Holy shit. That kid is actually smiling.
And now this kid isn't smiling, but this kid looks happy.
Yeah, he's got his tongue out, and he's got a mohawk. Or a faux hawk. He's got a faux hawk.
Little faux hawk, and he's going to the kindergarten. But I do notice them in particular because overall, I mean, your science. I'm not saying is bunk. I'm saying they're outliers.
Well, I'll tell you something else. Maybe my Jedi talk didn't go over well, but let's go Marvel. I think those are the people from Secret Invasion. I don't think they're human. I think they're shapeshifters.
Well, one of the kids, he is named after a superhero. And every year what he wants to be, and every time I talk to him, he changes which superhero he wants to be when he grows up. So you may be on to something. You may be on.
Yeah, I think they're shapeshifters. So I wanted to talk about that, Obi. And then I know you probably have a lot to talk because we talked about before. You missed me, so I'm sure you have a lot to talk to me about. But I got one other thing I got to get off my chest. Since we last talked, I think we talked. I had gone to a Metallica concert, all old people, but I went to a Guns N' Roses concert, also all old people. But here's what I got to share with the group. Never, ever in my life have I been sexually assaulted until the concert. I went to the restroom and to get another drink. And when I came back, unfortunately, my seat was in the exact middle of the row. So I had to, ask people to stand up so I could walk by them. And I walked by is it a cackle or a gaggle of middle-aged ladies. And as I was walking by them, they all grabbed my ass.
Every single one of them? Or one of them
multiple
times?
My ass was lit up. Let's just put it that way as I was walking by.
Okay.
Never, ever have I had that happen in my life before.
And when you got back to your brother, how much did you brag about that?
Oh, immediately. I said, they just roughed me up. And he took a picture, put it on Snapchat, and then I had to explain to my kids and my wife what that meant, getting roughed up by a bunch of ladies. So what I thought was a real cool moment that I could keep to myself, it immediately got back to my family, which is why I can now share it, because cat's already out of the bag.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you got to keep that cat. Look, as long as you keep the snake in the bag, the cat can come out of the bag.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means, Obi, but have you ever been roughed up like that?
Have I ever been roughed up like that? Not by a whole gaggle. Not by a whole gaggle.
Yeah.
Not by that many. No, not by a whole gaggle.
I think it was premeditated. I think when I left, they got a look, they got a look-see. And they said, probably talk to each other. When he comes back, we're going to get him.
Or they were women of a particular age, and they said, every man that walks by us, we're going to smack his ass. And they got drunker and drunker as the guys were enjoying it, and you got the best job or the best show out of it.
I wouldn't say it was smacking. I would say there was definitely grabbing and pulling.
No. I'm saying they started in their own minds with smacking, and they worked their way up and got braver and braver by the time you came.
Oh. And they knew I probably wouldn't say anything, so they could get away with it, which is what happened.
It could be, yes, yeah. So, well, congratulations on that. And I hope you did squats the day before, so they got good firm muscle tone there. And you didn't, because I've seen the pictures.
Yeah, I don't know about squats.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. You look better than your brother. I'll say that.
I think it's clear that I look better from the back than I do the front.
Yeah, I mean that.
I tell you what, I gotta be honest with you. I'm just glad I walked that way. I walked past them, right? Because you have two choices.
Right.
You can walk facing the stage, or you can walk not facing the stage. I'm just glad I chose to walk facing the stage.
Yes, that's a very important thing. Or maybe you're not glad. I'm just saying.
Oh no. I'm glad. I think it could have hurt the other way, if you know what I'm saying.
It could have. I'm looking right now at a picture of you and your brother, but this looks like it must be before the show because there's nobody in any of the seats around you.
Yeah. We got there. Well, I wouldn't say we got there early. We got there after. Well, we stayed outside. It was an amphitheater, so we stayed like out on the lawn for the opening act. And once the opening act ended, we went in. But and then the ladies showed up after.
Okay. All right. Well,
once it got dark. Great concert. Great time.
You had a very eventful time off because you also got to go to a Rutgers game.
I did. Oh, so since you're bringing that up, I mean, I think the most important part isn't the game. I mean, listen, it's always good to go to a game. It was hot as hell. That's not the most important part. The most important part is I was jonesing for a fat cat. And so I took the girls to College Ave after the game, and I lived up the college life 30 something years later, and I went into Are You Hungry? And I ordered a Fat Cat and had to wait with all the kids there that were, the guys yelling out numbers and stuff. Waited for a while. So it felt like 2 a.m. at the grease truck where you have to wait forever. And you start to wonder, did they screw up my order? Did they take my money and not make my food right? And the funniest part, well, two things about that was.
Well, before we go on, just want to confirm, this was a Sunday game, right?
Yes.
Yes. I was like, yes, this was a Sunday game. The Sunday before Labor Day.
4:00 in the afternoon. I'm getting a Fat Cat. Okay. And but it was packed because it was just after the game. So there's a lot of students, and it was also before classes started. Students had just moved on campus. All the freshmen are traveling in packs. You know how that works, right?
And this is at the location where the fat truck or the grease trucks literally used to be parked. The Sojourner apartment, correct?
Yeah. And they kicked them out, and now they put apartments up there, and there's a retail space called Are You Hungry, which used to be a grease truck for us, right?
Yeah.
And so 3 things that stand out about this visit. The first thing that stands out about the visit is the Fat Cat is still amazingly good. It's still the best thing to have, right? $10.99 used to be $2.50. It's $10.99, whatever. I'll pay it. It was amazing. First thing. Second thing, my daughters disappointed me to no end because they did not order a fat sandwich. One daughter ordered a grilled cheese and mozzarella sticks, and the other one got a cheese quesadilla. I mean, I don't even know. Is that what you get at grease trucks? I'm not sure. So that's a disappointment. And then the third thing's a disappointment is that there are Rutgers students who don't get when they're in the presence of greatness. And here's what I mean by this. As I'm waiting for my food, there's 2 young gentlemen, probably have to be freshmen, probably just met each other like 2 days prior. You know how the whole gaggle, you'll hang out with everybody for like the first week, and then you realize that they're losers, and you find your real friends. But anyway, the one guy must have ordered something because he's like number 9. I'm number 11, but they start calling out orders like 10, 12. I had to wait a while. 13, 14. The guy next to me, he's got 9, right? His buddy's like, yo, bro, what are you doing? You got to speak up, man. This is messed up. They can't just forget your order like that. You got to get your money back. And I'm thinking, this guy doesn't know how the grease truck works. First of all, at least his buddy kind of figured it out because his buddy was too timid. He didn't want to speak up. He's like, nah, he's going to get it. No, bro, you got to man up. Then he says, bro, the bus is coming in 20 minutes, man. I'm telling you right now, if it's not ready, I'm leaving you. I hate to be a dick, but I got to get back to my room, man. I'm hearing this whole conversation. And I'm like, these guys are disrespectful. Oh, then he says, I can't believe it. This place sucks, man. You should never come back here. That's blasphemy. How would you never go back to Are You Hungry?
Well, first, I don't know. I don't know really how you can never go back. Remember, when you were a freshman, you picked whatever grease truck you picked, and then you kind of stuck with that grease truck, right? Because we could choose from like 10. And then
now there's one.
Right.
Now there's one, and it's a store. It's not even a truck.
Right. So that's why. Because, there's a pizzeria across the way. And
that ain't you're not getting a Fat Cat there.
Hey, this guy, listen. This is what happens when you get rid of the trucks and you make it one location. That's all.
It's blasphemy. I'm telling you that right now, Obi.
So
blasphemy.
The next day, I arrive to the same location you're at.
So you went to Are You Hungry?
Well, no, I did not go to Are You Hungry because I was there dropping off my son the next day. And when I got there, the mess that was in that area that they were cleaning up it was so wonderful to see how messy it was. Because now they're cleaning up and they're laying out tables because they're doing the activities fair that day. And we're moving my son in for the last day. And it was just filthy. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful. It was so gross. It was wonderful. And they're cleaning it up right there. The Are You Hungry? That's why I was making sure. I probably walked through and stepped on your wrapper on my way to take my kid up to school.
No, I am old man. I threw my wrapper out. Obi, I will tell you at 4:30 when I finally got my food and was done eating, that place was a mess. It needed to be cleaning then. The fact that they waited 24 hours is also ridiculous.
Well, they may have cleaned it multiple times. Let's be honest.
Well, there was no drinking going on. What the hell was everyone making a mess with? I mean, I'm telling you, it looked like New York City when I was there.
Isn't that other building, that brown building, a beer garden?
Oh, if it is, I missed that.
I think the building.
I didn't know that.
It looked like a beer garden to me, and its name was something that sounded like a beer garden. I will get confirmation on that from my kid. But so
your son is living in the yard in those apartments.
He's living in those apartments
that are on the parking lot.
On the parking lot. Boom.
Where my car was parked.
My car was parked.
No, but my car was parked 28 years ago.
Yeah, no, as was mine.
When it got pissed on.
Oh, yes. Yes. He was parking where your car got. He probably is living over the exact mark of your bruised and battered P car. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. That's where he's living. He's living there.
See how everything comes full circle, Obi?
It does. It does. And that would be a great place for us to end the episode, but I just have a great story about when we moved him in to add, because I really would have been wonderful. You'll have to find a way to bring it back one more time, Ed. So we go up there, and as I'm walking in, I just look up for a second, and I see in little sticky notes what looks like a phone number, and it kind of rings a bell. And when I get in and I go into my kid's room, his roommates, because he wasn't home and he wasn't there. Like, he moved in, dropped off most of the stuff, and then he came home for another week. And then he moved back in.
I was going to say Monday's a little late because everyone moved in like the previous Wednesday.
Right. He moved in with everybody, but he had whatever, his last of his stuff at home. He came back home and lived here for a week. But he left his bedroom door open because they each have individual locks for the bedrooms. And so they had plastered his phone number in his window up there for everybody who may want to give him a call. However, for better or worse, they had the number wrong, which is why it didn't fully trigger me. I was like, that number's got a lot of that.
Oh, so here's the thing about that. And it's too bad the number's wrong, because that is a classic case of the joke is on them. They're putting his phone number out there. What if he gets top A model out of that? Like, isn't the joke on them? It's like, that's not a joke.
I don't know what he decided to do with it, because part of him, he said, oh, but the number's wrong. I did get a few weird calls this week. He's like, maybe I'm going to fix it. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's just low enough where people can see him in the room if he's looking. She's like I think it's on the 4th or 6th floor. But yeah, exactly. What if somebody calls, and of course it's some dude being whatever, but the girl he's been friend zoned by is really the guy, Yeah,
I mean, he could get catfish, of course, but
no, I'm thinking like some dude calls him as he thinks it's funny too.
Yeah.
And whenever they talk, they're like, hey, funny, oh, like whatever class, and then boom, he lands the girl who friend zoned that dude, who's, like you said, there. So yeah, we'll see how that joke goes for him and whether he changed the number. But that was an attempt at a good practical joke that went the wrong way. And now you're looking to see if you have pictures.
I think that goes the wrong way. No. I just think I weird things, and I actually saw. It was weird when I was eating my Fat Cat. There was actually somebody had the F-bomb in their window, and I was like, "Wow, I can't believe that's allowed." Like, somebody had, and it was spelled out. It wasn't like F-bomb. It was F. It's the 4 letters. I was like, "Wow."
It would really be funny if that was his window, and then they decided to go with his phone number instead. In hindsight, deciding that was a little too rough.
Well, it was around the 4th floor. So maybe it was. I don't know.
We'll have to find out more about this and how that prank ended up sucking. And the charm is that we suck. Thanks for listening. I'm Obi. That said, have a great day.